FF7 Remake is perfect. I'm just going to say it like it is. I'm just going to say what's on my mind, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Now, if you haven't been following, FF7 Remake is finally here. After over a decade of us being teased like we're in some adult club and we're just getting teased day and night, okay? I remember back when the PS3 came out, they were like, woo! You want an FF7 remake? Oh, were we tantalized? Were we teased? Did they show us E3 tech demos? When they showed us years ago, oh, a CGI trailer of just Cloud walking. At this point, all Square Enix needs to show us is just Cloud taking a dump, and it'll just be us like losing our minds. Finally, next month, FF7 Remake is releasing, okay? At least the first part of it, the Midgar section. I know what people have to say. Look, this is probably the best way we're going to get this remake, okay? If it's piecemeal, it's better than nothing. That's all I can say. Now, the demo just shadow launched on PS4, so if you have it, go download it, check it out. It's totally worth your time. It's basically the first bombing mission all over again in this remake. And man, is that sample platter enough to let me know that this is a game that I think might be one of the finest Final Fantasies out there. Now, FF7, just to give you a quick context, when I was a kid, people used to make fun of me for owning a PS1 in my area because everyone else had an N64, so they were playing Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, and Smash, and all that other stuff. And I didn't care, okay, you can play with your little Banjo-Kazooie, because my dad would find games like Tomba 2 and Akuji the Heartless, and I'd have a good old time playing that. But you know what? When I got my hands on FF7 for the first time, oh, you bet that I cream. Now, FF7 may not be my favorite Final Fantasy. I usually leave that to like FF10 now, because I just recently played it, and God, what a beautiful game. But FF7, when I was a kid, oh, it blew my mind. Imagine getting a jewel case, opening it up, and seeing 3 discs, and thinking, oh boy, I got a long adventure in front of me. Now, as a kid, I never finished it, but I remember very vividly putting in the first disc, starting the game up, just seeing that CGI, that flyover of Midgar, flying in, bombing mission playing in the background. I mean, talk about starting a game off with a bang. If it's the top 5 moments of gaming I remember, it's FF7's intro one of them. So you gotta understand, when I say this remake is perfect, that means they literally recaptured the lightning in the bottle again. That is this game. Now, starting this game off, fair enough, let me just tell you, visually, it's a treat. It's an eyeball treat to explore. Now, graphics I'm not that big on, I don't really care too much, as long as the game looks good, as long as it functions, as long as it ain't Fallout 76 with 16 times the crap fest, then I'm fine. FF7 Remake looks adorable. It looks great. Now, visually, okay, you don't have the pre-rendered backgrounds anymore, okay, which the PS1 needed. You don't have them. You're basically at Cloud's body height the entire time, so everything seems grand and magical to you. Mako Reactor, when you're doing the bombing mission in this version, is far more enhanced. The general level structure is there, but because you actually have a third-person camera, you get to see a lot more of this Mako Reactor, and it basically fleshes it out from just like a couple slides to something that is this grand machine, this grand reactor that finally sets into tone of what you're attacking. It makes this eco-attack mission, this eco-terror mission look just more grand than you normally would expect. Now, visuals aside, yeah, they're great. Of course they're going to be good. Square Enix is behind it, okay? You're talking about a company that literally has almost no fucks to give with development hell. Of course they're going to make a game look good at the end of the day. That's no concern. What about that? What about that gameplay? Now, gameplay is what I like to call the crack sandwich of the experience. It's what keeps you coming back. And the FF7 Remake gameplay is amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course they couldn't bring the old JRPG back. They have a classic mode, yes, but I'm going to put it like it is. I fall asleep playing FF7 nowadays, okay? It is what it is. This version is a much more action-oriented FF7. Like, it's more of, I would say, you've got your third-person, move around wherever you want with the analog stick. You can attack anytime you want, basic, and then you can use special attacks like the Braver, limit breaks, as you build up your ATB gauge and your damage gauge, like the original game to an extent. But what else is really important is each character has sort of their own thing. For Cloud in this case, you actually have something called an Operator or Punisher mode, where effectively you can either attack enemies in like this giant like Like you can either blitz your way through them, or you can choose to move slower and be much more punchier with your combat. Barrett, in this case, who's the only other playable character, actually has a big use. See, the way that they designed the enemies in this game is kind of like FF10. Each enemy has sort of like a thing, and you have to counter it with a specific party member. So for instance, let's say you're fighting an aerial drone. There ain't no way Cloud's taking that big ass sword up to the sky and beating them. I mean, he could, but it's just not viable. That's where Barrett comes in with his arm like chain gun, and boy can Barrett bring a punch. See, when you play the game that way, it makes every encounter actually use your brain to an extent. You know, you're not sitting there flipping through menus. You're actually, you know, moving your character around, doing what you can, and engaging in each fight, you know, with a healthy intellect. Now, not saying that you can't use the OG method. As far as I know, Classic is available. I just didn't try it in this demo because the new combat system is better. Now, it takes, for instance, the Scorpion tank battle at the end of the bombing mission, you know, whereas in the original game, it's your standard fair battle, you know, it is what it is. In this game, dude, it's a showpiece. If every boss battle is like this Scorpion tank in the remake, I think I'm set. Like, it already is a far better game already as it is, but if you can literally make every, like, encounter that's bossy in Midgar like this, that's it. I mean, that's kind of like the perfection of FF7's gameplay right there. So the gameplay is great, the visuals are amazing, the actual storyline is a little more fleshed out. So in the original, bombing mission would take you like 20 minutes to finish, right? In this game, it's like a 2 to 3 hour affair. But it's not a 2 to 3 hour affair that takes too long or the pacing is off. No, it's actually interspersed with a lot of story bits that, you know, definitely flesh out the game and pace it a little bit better than the original. And the actual area is a little bit more larger than usual. You actually have more to explore in the Mako reactor than you would the original game. So yeah, I mean, all in all, bombing mission alone, the 2 to 3 hour campaign demo that I just played was enough to tell me that, yeah, they really brought the strong guns to FF7. Now, let's just continue off with, of course, the negatives. I know there's going to be a lot of people who say, well, but this ain't going to be the whole FF7 remake. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it's either this or it's nothing. And honestly, after playing this demo and noticing that the path that Square Enix wants to go, I'm still excited. FF7's Remake Part 1, I guess, the Midgar section, which if you look at the original game, Midgar is like, what, a quarter, a fifth of the full game? The fact that they have said that FF7 Remake Part 1 is as big as an actual FF game itself, if not bigger than a lot of them, or most of them, or the biggest of them all, actually has me excited. See, I think the strongest point with FF7 is actually fleshing out its story. If I play the original game again, I'll be honest with you, the story is great. It's very structured in Midgar, but there's a lot of moments after it that I end up falling asleep. And I think if Square Enix is taking the time to redo the story in such a way, then I can almost get behind it. If they're going to flesh out Midgar, for instance, which was a city that excited me from the original, into a full game, I mean, a fully explorable Midgar, I mean, that might be asking too much, but an area that I can explore down to every single level and actually do side quests in would be amazing. Like, I would love it. I think this game might actually flesh out the back lore of FF7 way more than you expected it. And this is something that I'm super excited for. FF7's lore is good. I just think in the original PS1 game, it's a lot of content for, honestly, a short game in comparison to what the lore really is. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, FF7 Remake Part 1 is almost here. Literally a month. It's gold at this point. And I think once this comes out, you'll start seeing Part 2 and Part 3 even come out in the next year or the year after. I think now that they've got most of the development work done, it's time to pump out the rest of this FF7 story. And finally, we are getting this remake in the way that I honestly think it deserves. I mean, playing this remake alone showed me that, you know what, Square came in hardcore. They made it look perfect. And I think with what we've got right now, I think they've recaptured the lightning in the bottle. And this might be one of my favorite remakes of this generation. And I thought RE2 won me, but this might be the best. And you know what? RE3 is around the corner. It's literally the moment of the retro games coming back and reinventing themselves to the point where they are just this god-tier collection out there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, FF7 Remake. I can't wait for the final full product here with the Midgar section. I don't know when it truly ends or it doesn't. Given the fact that, again, the original game, the original Midgar section is a fourth of the game, I am genuinely wondering what the big brunt of this game is going to be like, how we're going to be going between each Final Fantasy Remake chapter. You know, what's going to happen? Are we gonna use our save files and carry them over? Is the whole game franchise even going to be on one generation of consoles only, or is it going to be like, I'm going to play FF Remake Part 1 on PS4, and then I'm going to be playing the rest of them on like PS5 or Series X or even PC? That's going to be an interesting scenario to get down into, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, that is FF7 Remake, and I think without a doubt it might be the best remake that I played so far, just from the demo impressions themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about them in the comment section below. I finally had my nostalgia itch felt. I got a little boner popped up. My pants are still wet. This is me, Mudahar, and I am